happy family, parents with their newly adopted daughter, 5-year-old Fatima. Fatima would spend the next 15 years with them, completely oblivious to the secret they had been keeping from her.
I was indeed not documented, and that the Taylors never adopted me, and I never was adopted.
Fatima met the Taylors at an orphanage in Nicaragua, and they took her to the United States under a temporary visa. However, they wouldn't take her back, and they would tell Fatima that she was adopted and that they were her parents.
My childhood with the Taylors was very much, in the beginning, I would call it the honeymoon phase. The Taylors were so in love with me, and I started noticing, just some inconsistencies with their story. I would often ask where my birth certificate was, and she would always tell me, oh, it's, somewhere, it's in storage. They would be very adamant, no, your birthday is August 7th. Your mother didn't know when you were born. And then the next year, well, technically January 8th is your birthday, but we celebrated August 7th.
On July 1st, 2019, Fatima received a letter that would change the rest of her life and bring a halt to the Taylors' lies. Her citizenship status was under review.
I thought it was just, something that could easily be fixed. Maybe the Taylors had a piece of paperwork that they forgot to submit, and that is when I met Dr. Arcienega.
I've always worked with people who are undocumented but know it, right? Like they know that they entered the country without authorization, and so they're often victims of other things, but to actually have to tell someone who thinks, she was about to be a senior in high school, she has all of these hopes and aspirations, and then to find out, oh, by the way, you were never adopted, and you have no authorization to be in this country, was heartbreaking.
At the time, I didn't really know what being undocumented entailed. I was mad at the Taylors, of course, for lying to me. I went through a dark season where I was angry at the world. I was angry at myself.
Were you scared at all that you might be sent back to Nicaragua?
I was terrified. What would happen if I were to be deported right now?
Do you blame them for that?
I blame them for a lot of things that come with being an undocumented person. I wouldn't have to be worried about being deported if they had just done what they were supposed to have done.
And how hard would that have been for them to do that?
Not that hard, because they were given a lot of resources and help by many people. They had the money at the time to do it the right way, but they just didn't.
The Taylors' fraudulent adoption was criminal, but Fatima was still not a citizen and needed a visa to stay in the United States.
You have to cooperate in the investigation, right? So you basically now have to testify against these people who you've known as mom and dad, and that's the only way that you're going to qualify for this visa.
I was very anxious the whole time because I knew that they would be telling other people about what I wrote and how disgusted they were that their once loving, amazing daughter would write such horrible things about such heroic and kind people who raised me, who did everything but breathe for me. They will say, and they did in court, we do not consider ourselves heroes. We just fell in love with this cute, adorable little girl, and we wanted to help her. But in my eyes, they consider themselves heroes.
Those heroes plunged Fatima into years of fighting for her citizenship, but luckily she found a real hero in Dr. Arcienega.
When you come in, right, and you're the adult who tells her, like, this is what's going on. I also felt a responsibility to mentor her. She had a stroke last year, and I picked her up from the hospital. I see that now she's built a new community.
Now she has a family of her own, her husband Jeremy and 1-year-old son Renlin. Unfortunately, she still can't escape the negative impacts left in her life from the people she called mom and dad for so many years.
Due to her status and stuff, she doesn't have insurance, and so she's racked up thousands of dollars worth of medical bills, especially with Renlin being born and everything. And I actually just got through talking to my HR lady, and she is now on insurance for the first time. So we're a couple $1,000s out of debt now.
Woo!
Did you just find that out?
Yeah, that's what I was on. Who I was on the phone with when I ran outside.
That's so exciting.
That's
It's just the
exciting.
little steps,
Oh,
right?
it is.
Oh,
It
absolutely,
is. It has
absolutely.
definitely humbled me, for sure. On like, you know, and I still have moments where like I want to get a job, but I can't go out and get a job. It's stuff like that that reminds me that I am undocumented.
Despite the betrayal, there's still a part of Fatima that holds on to the family she once had.
I looked at Jeremy, I was like, I really want to go see the Taylors to introduce Renlin to them. And they saw me clearly, and they saw Renlin, and they just closed the garage door and blocked my number. And I decided at that point, I don't want anything to do with them at the current moment.
What do you plan on telling Renlin about, like, your story?
If he asks me, who are your parents, I will be honest with him, and I want him to form his own opinion of what he thinks, but I will tell him the truth. Truly, no matter how many times I ask, no matter how many times I rephrase the question, I will never know the real reasoning or intention behind them not doing it the right way. I sit and think, you know, I wouldn't have to be worried about being deported if they had just done what they were supposed to have done.